Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark with another Mad Movie Mark movie review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 1941 horror drama The Wolfman.
No. Now go away. Go quickly.
Hey, come on, that's not fair. I haven't even finished my review yet. At least give me some kind of chance here. If this is your first time joining me, I'm reviewing every movie in this book, the 1001 movies you must see before you die. The Wolfman stars Lon Chaney Jr. as Larry Talbot. He will be the Wolfman in question for this film. It also stars Bela Lugosi as Bela. He has kind of a smaller role in this film than what you're probably used to him having. Claude Rains as Sir John Talbot, one of my favorite actors of all time. Evelyn Ankers as Gwyn, Maria Ospinskaya as Maleva. She's been in a few films that I've reviewed as well, and Ralph Bellamy as Colonel Montford, who I think has been in 5 or 6 films that I've reviewed so far. I hope I did not butcher any of their names, and if I did, I'm sure everyone will let me know about it in the comments because they usually do. Now, Wolfman shaped nearly every werewolf story that followed. It established the modern-day werewolf mythology, which included transformation during a full moon at night, silver harming/killing a werewolf, the curse being spread through a bite, and the tragic human trapped inside of a monster. Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance became iconic. He played a sympathetic and tortured character as opposed to just a monster. The emotional approach influenced later horror films and helped audiences connect with the creature. Along with Dracula, Frankenstein, and The Mummy, this created the idea of a shared universe of monsters long before monster franchises. Now, this book also has Frankenstein and it has Dracula in it as well, but I don't think it has The Mummy, and I'm not sure why it wouldn't include all 4 of these very early films. It only included 3 of the 4. So I've yet to see The Mummy. I'm not sure how it stacks up to these other 3. The makeup and effects were groundbreaking for its time. The transformation scenes were painstaking, but impressed audiences and inspired future horror special effects works later on. It reflected the anxieties of the era. It was released during World War II, and the movie's themes of losing control, hidden darkness, and unavoidable fate resonated with audiences living through uncertain times. Now, I think up until this point, I've done a lot of films that took place before World War II, but I think this might be the first one I've done that takes place during World War II. And there's a scene in the film, it's a very important scene, it's probably one of the most important scenes, where the werewolf identifies its next victim through a pentagram on the victim's hand. And I can't help but think that this is resonant of the Star of David, because it looks exactly like the Star of David that Jewish people would have worn during the Holocaust to kind of identify them in death camps. And I have to think that that's what they were going for here, and that they were trying to make some kind of connection between the Wolfman's victims and the Jewish victims of the Holocaust. And for me, it's very powerful. I don't know if that's true. I haven't done any research about this. I'm sure that other people have brought this up in other reviews, but I don't know. Maybe I'm completely off, but that just seems like what they were going for, but I don't know. So this movie is kind of bizarre to me. It's of the 3 of the Frankenstein, Dracula, and now the Wolfman, is probably my least favorite. The acting is absolutely fantastic. I think every movie that Claude Rains is in, it elevates it. It makes the acting much better just because he is in it. Lon Chaney Jr. is also incredible. Evelyn Ankers is great as Gwyn, but there are some just weird stuff in this film that I wasn't jiving with at all. So when the film opens up, we're introduced to Larry Talbot. He is visiting his father in Wales. He's there to bury his recently deceased brother. His father is played by Claude Rains. His father's John Talbot Jr., and John wants his son to take over the family estate once he is gone. Now, they have this big telescope in this house that's broken, and John asks Larry to fix it, and he's able to fix it, and after he fixes it, he notices that he can point it to this woman's bedroom, the woman who is Gwyn, and he sees her like dressing or undressing or something, and he's very interested in her, and he notices that she has like this earrings that she's taking off, and that she's in some sort of store or something. Maybe she wasn't undressing. Maybe it was just the earring thing. Maybe I made that other part up. So there's earrings though, and so he goes over and he decides he wants to try to hit on her by asking if he can see this pair of earrings. And she says, "Oh, we don't have a pair of earrings like that at the store." And he says, "Yes, you do. You were taking them off in your room upstairs." It's very, very weird. Like, who leads with that? Like, it just doesn't seem like that would ever be something anyone would do, because it's just so creepy and bizarre. But she kind of, I mean, she's later we find out she's engaged, so she kind of deflects his passes, his his moves that he's making on her, and he says, "Okay, okay, whatever. If you won't show me the earrings, if you won't go up and get them, I'll just buy this cane here." And it's a walking stick with a wolf's head on it, and she explains that it's a werewolf and that it's made of silver, and silver is the only thing that can kill a werewolf. And the whole town recites this poem about werewolves, about how they roam at night and stuff. I don't remember what the poem says, but it's a poem that everyone knows. Everyone knows about the lore of this town, about how there's possibly werewolves at one point. I don't know if anyone actually believes in it, but it's a nice thing that the town is known for, and everyone knows this poem about werewolves and stuff. So he eventually keeps asking her for a date, and he keeps asking her out, and she just keeps telling him no. Like, I don't want to go out with you. Now, eventually they do meet up, and they go out for this stroll at night. When they meet up, she invites her friend to meet up with them. Her name is Jenny, so it's not just them two going out on a date, but Jenny is there as well. They go to this palm reader, and this palm reader, who is Bella, reads Jenny's palm, and when he reads Jenny's palm, he sees a pentagram on her hand. So at this point, we learn that Bella is a werewolf and that Jenny is the next victim. And then later on that night, he attacks Jenny, and Larry sees the attack is happening, and he jumps in and he tries to save Jenny, but he's too late. Her throat's basically been ripped open, but he like beats the werewolf with his stick with silver on it, and it ends up killing the werewolf. And then the next day, he tries to say that there was this animal that was attacking her, and he killed the animal, and that he got all these wounds because he had like this big wound on his chest, and it was this terrible incident that happened, and he was maimed for life and everything. And then when they check his chest, there's no wound there, and they said there was no werewolf, there was no wolf or any animal at the scene. We only saw Bella and Jenny at the scene, and they were both dead, and your walking stick was there at the time. So he becomes the head the head suspect in this murder. They think that he murdered two people and that he used his cane to do it. Now, later in the movie, he will meet with Maleva, who was Bella's mother. Now she knows that her son was a werewolf, and she will tell him that he is now going to become a werewolf because he was attacked and bitten by a werewolf. So now he is going to become a werewolf as well when the moon shines. And he ends up becoming a werewolf. He transforms. It becomes this big thing. He ends up eventually he ends up killing some people, and he ends up realizing that he is a werewolf by the end of the film, and he tries to tell his father, like, I killed some people because I'm a werewolf, and the bites that you're seeing on people, it's because of me, because I'm turning into a werewolf. And it seems like he's really like disheartened by what's happening, and he's reaching out for help, and he knows that what he's done is wrong, but he's not able to avoid it. He's not able to kill these urges that he has when he's a werewolf. And his father thinks that he's just crazy, and that it's nothing, that he's not actually turning into a werewolf, and he's just kind of insane, and that this whole thing is getting to him, and it's getting to his brain. So he ends up like tying his son down, and his son ends up breaking free and becoming a werewolf. And I'm not going to give away exactly what happens, but this town that has this lore about werewolves, that knows about the history of werewolves and is very keen on werewolves, is just completely taken aback when the son says he thinks he's a werewolf. But the scenes where he's kind of being really weird with Gwen, and the whole Gwen thing doesn't really matter like through most of the film. So I'm assuming the relationship with Gwen was so that he could also meet up with Ginny. It sets up the scene where Jenny's being killed and he becomes a werewolf. I really thought there was going to be more of like a love interest throughout the film with these two characters. Now she's engaged, but that doesn't really stop anyone in movies ever. They still pursue each other. And the town people do believe that there is infidelity going on here and that Gwen is cheating on her fiance. Now, the fiance doesn't believe that. He doesn't believe that there's infidelity going on. But the two do become pariahs. So Larry and Gwen become like pariahs in the town because they think that there's cheating and infidelity and adultery going on here, even though there's not. But I thought that there was going to be more of a relationship here, and then at the end of the film, they do seem like they like each other. Like there's some sort of relationship, but it kind of falls apart in the middle a little bit when they think there's adultery. They don't really have a lot of interactions with each other. And to be honest, the movie isn't that long. I thought they could have done a much better job. They should have made the movie a little bit longer. I felt like they could have done a lot more with it than what they did. I felt the whole thing was kind of rushed. It was kind of the plot was a little sloppy here and there. But the special effects, the ambiance, the atmosphere that they're building, there's a lot of really cool fog scenes, a lot of night scenes. The acting is spectacular. Everything else is great. It's just some plot and some pacing problems that I have with this film that I just don't think kind of puts it on that same echelon of Frankenstein and Dracula. But I do think it's an okay film. I just wasn't in love with it, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I hope you join me next time when I review a movie called High Sierra. Thank you. Have a great day.